Everyone, and welcome to today's episode. We're going to be talking about how to get the best internet to your device. The reason I say that is because we are these days using a lot of bandwidth when it comes to streaming videos. Usually what we used to do is just watch content, but now we're actually going to be uploading content quite a lot these days due to Zoom calls and everything. And it's kind of a requirement that we try to maximize our bandwidth coming to our devices. Now, you may or may not have heard of these things. These are called Powerline adapters. They're also known as Ethernet over power adapters. Basically, you can see they always come in pairs. And you can get some of them, they won't have a pass-through AC. So this is like a regular Powerline adapter, and then these ones are ones which also let you plug in other devices into it, because what we actually are doing are plugging this into our wall sockets. And it sounds a bit crazy the first time I heard it, but what we're doing is our internet data is going to go through our power lines in the house from one room to another. Let me quickly show you my setup. So what you basically need to get things working is a pair of these adapters. You can get them pretty much anywhere these days. You can get them at Bunnings, you can get them at Officeworks, you can get them at JB Hi-Fi. And so you just get a pair of these, and what you also need is two cables, Ethernet cables. So Wi-Fi, you obviously don't need anything apart from a router and your computer. But what's better than Wi-Fi, and I'll show you this in my experiment later on in the video, is if you can plug a cable in at the back of your router, you usually see 4 slots that you can use. Get an Ethernet cable such as this, LAN cable sometimes they're called, and you just directly plug it into your computer if you have an Ethernet port in it. In my experiment, I'll show you what you can do if you don't have an Ethernet port, but that's not the main topic of today. The main topic today is power lines. And so power adapters, you're going to plug one side into your computer as such. That's actually going to plug into your wall. Please don't use a power board or an extension cord or anything like that. It needs to go directly into the wall socket. And the other side you put into the room where you're going to be the room with the router, and you plug the cable in to your router. As such, the same slot you would have if you were directly doing it, and magically through the power lines in your wall, you're able to make a connection which is as good as a direct connection. And I'll show you that in my experiment. But this is going to be way better than Wi-Fi. And the demands we have on our computers these days, doing videos, is like we need to start using these. So in this first video, I'm actually going to show you the results of a speed test. So there's going to be 4 speed tests. The first one is going to be me using Wi-Fi directly next to my router. So Wi-Fi signals actually get interrupted quite a bit the further you go, if you're in between walls, and if you're in between bodies of water as well, funnily enough. So most telephone cables into your house are actually usually near the kitchen, near the lounge room. And to get into your bedroom, you're usually going past the bathroom or past the kitchen. And so it's really not great Wi-Fi signals you're going to get if you're going to be setting up an office in your bedroom or anything like that. So here we go. First results we've got 44 up, which means how much quickly we can download, and 44 down, I should say, which is how much we can download, and 16 up. So that's pretty decent if I'm setting up my computer right next to my office. Right next to my router, which is incredibly unlikely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the few steps it takes to get to my bedroom, and we're going to do this test again. And you'll see there's going to be a dramatic drop. I was actually quite surprised by how much it was. But the main figure that we're going to be looking at, download speeds is really important, but upload speed is very important if you're trying to do a Zoom call. So here we go. Already you can see that the speeds for downloads is dramatically lower. Goes as low as 6, but it's going to bounce back up. I know Wi-Fi is something that we're taught all these days, but really you should be avoiding Wi-Fi where you can. I mean, if you want to set up, your computer on your couch, You might even want to run a cable going to your couch, and then you just plug in your computer. There we go, 3 megabytes per second up, which is terrible. And so you can see how much of a drop I had. Let me quickly show you something I prepared earlier. So we had 8.53 downloads in my room versus the 44 we had right next to the router. That's 5 times worse being in my room than being next to the router. That's like insane. So you can see how much a drop you get by using Wi-Fi. So now going to the second part of my experiment. This time I've got a cable which is directly plugged into this laptop. Now let me pause there. My laptop did not have an Ethernet port, so I had to get this dongle known as an Ethernet adapter, USB to Ethernet adapter. So these are super cheap to get. I got mine off eBay. You may be able to get it from Officeworks as well. I'll have to double check. But this is really inexpensive as well for the amount of improvement you get. So if you don't have an Ethernet port, you're going to need one of these. But obviously you're going to also need the Powerline adapters that we're focusing on in this video. So let's run the speed test. Ethernet is always going to be faster than Wi-Fi, no matter what you do. And so you can see straight off the bat we're hitting 50s. And so yeah, I guess why compromise, especially when this can mean the difference between working from home or schooling from home and having a really horrible time. Yesterday I was with one of my students, and it basically took an hour to send one email because that's how slow the computers work. He needed to send me a file from his schoolwork, and he needed to log into Google Classroom. He needed to do all that, and that was so slow. Look at that. We've got nearly 54 megabytes per second versus, what was it, 8 megabytes per second. And so, okay, here we go. We're going to plug our Ethernet cable into the Powerline adapter. You can see that I've got it directly into the PowerPoint. It's going to be a bit of fiddliness as I figure that out. But no, like taking an hour to send a small PDF file is just unacceptable. It's just like you basically the inefficiency, like the amount of study time you're just losing by not being able to use a Powerline adapter is insane. So I mean, that was kind of the inspiration for me to make this video. So here we go. We're going to now take my laptop into my room where I've set up the second Powerline adapter already. It's already plugged in. I just got to plug this computer into the Ethernet port. So here we go. Short walk over. Excuse the mess in my room. Trying to set up a board game store in my office at the same time. All right. Let us begin. We've got about a minute left. There we go. Plugging into the Ethernet adapter, which is connected by USB. And we're ready to rock and roll. Let's do a speed test. What do you think? What do you guys think it is? Are we going to get... It's definitely not going to get as low as 8 megabytes per second. But it's going to be 40. It's going to be 30. Let's have a looks. Go. Boom, straight off the bat into our 50s. Very similar to if you directly plugged it into Ethernet power. And that's literally the magic of Powerline adapters. Like the speeds you're getting, your bandwidth, it is uncompromised compared to using Wi-Fi. So this is what we need to do. Once this result finishes up, I'm going to show you my other summaries that I prepared. There we go. Look at that. Look at that upload speed of 16.84. That's just insane. I could be like streaming 4 videos, 4 separate Zoom calls, and things will still be fine. So coming to my results. So remember, using Wi-Fi in your room is 5 times worse than being right next to the router. These are the results from directly plugging the LAN cable in or doing it via the power line. You can see they're pretty much equivalent. I got a little bit better on the power line for some reason, but you know, that's just testing, experimenting. Your usage may vary depending on how good your internet speed is, but you'll see no difference between using LAN cable directly and using the power line. And now, the conclusion of this episode. How much better is Powerline over using Wi-Fi in my room? 6 times better. It's just insane. And so yeah, thanks for watching this video. Hope I've converted you into buying Powerline adapters again. Like I said, you can get it from Officeworks, JB Hi-Fi, even Bunnings. And so do yourself a favor and get a Powerline adapter. Bye-bye.